Welcome back to Stay in Your Lane with Triple T Transport. Today we have 4 people involved in our podcast. This may be a record for me. We've got 3 gentlemen from Organic Valley. I'd like to introduce everyone. Nathan Helms.
Morning.
Good morning, Nathan. Director of Transportation Management Services and all of transportation for Organic Valley. We've got Tyler Bauer, Transportation Loss Prevention Specialist. How you doing, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Very good. Thank you for being on. And Adam Lovelace. Adam, Transportation Systems Manager.
Yep.
How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for
Good.
having us today.
Thanks for being on. So today we want to talk about FourKites. Trying to understand from a tracking and tracing perspective what values it brings to the industry and to shippers versus us as a carrier on the carrier side. Trying to understand where it brings value that maybe we don't see or understand from one side to the other. Who'd like to start off?
Oh, I guess I can. To be quite honest, the two things that are primary for us with FourKites, first off, as with any industry, it's customer service. To be able to, proactively let our customers know if there's an issue with their delivery along the way. Again, on-time delivery is always preferred, but we work in the world of logistics and things happen, and we just try to make sure that we're satisfying the customer's needs and also serving the carrier as well, trying to make it, life a little simpler for them when things do go awry. And second, in all honesty, that's the world that we live in, but FourKites for us is also another primary means of being able to fight deductions and so forth, to help mitigate those. So when we get deduction reports, that we can go through and track back to see where the driver was. He may have been 20 miles down the road. He may have been sitting in line at the gate. So that helps us to help mitigate those.
Very good. So I think we all like the proactive approach. If we have someone that gets held up, we need to let everybody know ahead of time. Rescheduling is much easier. Dealing with buyers and the purchasers is much easier. Everybody likes to hear about it ahead of time. No one in our industry, I don't think, has ever appreciated hearing about it after the appointment's already been missed. You brought up, though, the deductions. I think that most of us didn't see FourKites on our side of the table, on our side of the industry. We saw FourKites for an on-time delivery. We didn't see it as a tool that you could utilize to provide and refute deductions.
So for us, and I'm going to give the props to Adam here. When we first looked at the application, we looked at it, like you said, from the on-time service perspective. And as we were doing the ROI for it, we looked at, okay, is there, how can we pay for this thing? What aspects should we look at that will be not only a benefit to us, a benefit to our customers, but also can we get it to pay for itself? And so being able to fight the deductions, or help mitigate deductions with that GPS locator information was a crucial part of getting it approved.
It was a big deal. Talking about, you had to build up the ROI for the tool. So yes, everybody likes the soft cost and likes the feel of the on-time delivery, but you really got to show that you can get savings out of it. A lot of it, like Nathan said, was with customer deductions, validating the legitimacy of those. Another big thing too, that kind of brought us to FourKites was we were doing our continuous improvement, looking at our metrics and on-time delivery to different locations. And the quality of the data, it's not always timely. Getting those arrival and departure times are accurate. So getting that kind of source of the truth is really big for continuous improvement and keeping moving forward on improving our on-time delivery.
Now, when you did that, did you have pushback from your customers? Because, I've been at Triple T for 28 years. I remember when there weren't deductions for being late. Your big retailers are where it started at. I think, your Walmarts with their MABD dates, people looking for accountability from a transportation perspective, or wanting their product when they order it and when they're supposed to have it by. So I think initially it was a tool used as a profit center. And now that you have the tools and we have the technology to maybe refute a lot of these scenarios where before you were forced to eat them, correct? Is that right?
Correct.
And Nathan, do you have a clue of what percentage now that, did the percentage change a great deal? How we doing on the ROI?
Part of the aspect, there were kind of different facets for it. I understand you guys are a transportation company and this might not be popular, but we also look at it for when we get surprise deductions that we may end up charging back to the carrier. The carrier is, 2 hours late, does not notify us of that fact, and they show up and the customer deducts from us, and we may turn around and put that back on the carrier.
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to hold everyone accountable. It's, I think that's where it starts, right?
Exactly. I mean, we've had that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler, what do you see from your side?
And the deductions is a big thing with me right now. And then also just building the carrier relationships. I go through, I check on if we get a deduction. I'll go through FourKites, Blue Jay, go through and see what happened. And most of the time it's those little ones that add up, those $250 deductions that add up, and those are the ones that we can refute. Also, like I said, the carrier relationship of making sure that they're understanding everything that's going on with the platform and what we're utilizing it for, and how it can benefit them as well as us. So it's been a good platform to work with since I started here at Organic Valley, and it seems like we're finding out what carriers are willing to work with us on it, and those are the carriers that are performing well all around.
We've used it for many of our customers. We use it for many of our shippers, and to be honest, it hasn't gotten to the point where we've had to dig a lot into it because they have already got the information.
Yep.
So you're not even reaching back out to us to ask us if we were on time. Hey, is there a check-in and a checkout time on the bill of lading? So this has eliminated that for us because you've already got the in and out times. Everything's being sent, so it's automatic. It's seamless for us.
Yeah.
So our McLeod software, our customized McLeod software, automatically is communicating with the FourKites platform. So the phone call doesn't come from Organic Valley into our office, for example. You don't have to contact us and then us go back and do the paperwork or do the research that we had to do many years ago,
Yeah.
previous
Yep.
to the technology being there. So all of those things take time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's saving labor costs as well, like you talked about there. Um, and just the different EDIs, integrating with FourKites. It's nice to see that FourKites is able to work with all those different platforms and get the data. And that's something that we realize with some of our carriers is no one has the same, it's all around.
The biggest thing is understanding what our carriers have. You talk about the drivers don't want to be tracked. The drivers don't want to turn that application on their cell phone. They don't want to plug into their ELD because of whatever reason. They might
Big
have
brother.
they might have the satellite ELDs, or they may have, as I think they call them, cigarette charger ELDs, that they have to download when they get back to the office or get back to the yard. And we found, and Tyler and Adam, feel free to interject here, but understanding what they were using for a TMS and doing the direct integrations through that, just to send that reporting over to FourKites, and thus us, was probably the best and simplest method of getting it done, because every carrier is going to want to put in their trailer numbers and all of their tracking information into, obviously they won't get paid if they don't have everything in their system. We found that it's been more beneficial to us to directly have them integrate their TMS with FourKites to send that information over versus the driver's cell phones or the ELDs, that kind of thing.
I think it's big, like what Tyler was saying, the 3 different combinations. So you've got their ELD, their TMS, and the way they assign trucks to loads. You can have any sorts of different combinations. So keeping a handle on that and being able to help each carrier in each one of those situations is really big. Another thing was assets versus brokers and owner operators working under an asset. As soon as you get to a brokerage or you get removed from that asset, the ability to get that tracking is so much more difficult. So even we tend to see like an asset will have owner operators, but their owner operators won't be integrated in their system, so we don't get their tracking. Another big thing is like LTLs. If they're on their own network, we can track them, right? But as soon as they go into their partner networks, that's really when we start to lose the visibility.
Yeah. And then they also have, the carrier link option, which is through their mobile devices, which is nice. But like you mentioned before, you have those old school drivers that don't want to be part of it. They think Big Brother is watching. And I just attended the FourKites conference about a week ago, and they developed a new tool that's coming out called Fast Tracking, which is just basically a QR code that the drivers can scan with their phone, and they don't even have to download an app or anything like that. So Foremost Farms had some huge results with that. So looking forward to what that's going to bring in the future.
We're using, because, we're a broker, we're third party, and we have to work with everyone, right? So you guys are aware, we have FourKites and we have MacroPoint. We don't have much pushback from a driver level any longer on it. I think initially it was Big Brother and, the old school guys with the yoke on the shirt still and the hat and the boots, but most of those guys aren't driving any longer. I mean, we've seen a huge transition of drivers change from a demographic perspective too, and a generational perspective. So I'd say the past 10 years, that's kind of fizzled out. They're still out there, but it's hard for them to compete, I think, in today's industry. And to Nathan's point, is about service and understanding, how to be proactive. Not everyone's going to call you and tell you, hey, we're running behind. We're going to be a few hours late tomorrow, it looks like. Can we start communicating? But having this tool where you can go back and maybe argue some unloading deductions or some late fee deductions. I almost wish that we got to the point where there were no unloading charges. Can we wind the clock back? I don't think we can put it back in the box.
Here.
Unloading has always been a four-letter word. I mean, it doesn't matter for any reason. So now you add deductions on top of unloading, which I think have all happened, across the board in our industry in the past 15 years. But guys, wow, wonderful. Thank you for the information. Thanks for being on. Stay in your lane. For everyone out there watching, I think, we'd love to hear from you. I'd like to hear your thoughts, comments, share your experiences, positive or negative. We want to hear from you. You can follow us. You can see us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can see us on LinkedIn. So look forward to hearing from those of you out there that want to know more. And thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.